have quite a few at this point, so this is good. We'll go ahead and get started. My name is Regina Cross, and I am the director of the Spartan Pathways Travel Program. And I'm actually the host of this cruise, the MSU host, which I'm excited to be joining all of you and getting a chance to get to know you throughout our days in the Mediterranean. Okay, so what kind of the format of this Zoom meeting is I will introduce the representative from Go Next, and she will give you some tips and kind of go over what to expect. And afterwards, then what we'll do is kind of go around the room and have everyone introduce themselves and say what your connection to Michigan State is and what you're looking forward to. So with further ado, we have Emily Dean from Go Next, and she will begin talking about the tour. So
perfect. Thanks, Regina. Like Regina said, I work with Go Next. I've worked here for 11 years. I'm the client service manager, so I work directly with Regina, the schools, the hosts. And I'm here to talk about the beginning of the cruise, the middle of the cruise, and then up into disembarkation. If you guys have questions, you can put them in the chat, or we will have questions at the end, or just stop me in the middle, whatever works for you. By now, everybody should have received their final documents from Go Next via email. If you have not received those documents, you're gonna want to call our agents, and there might be something holding it up. But in your final documents that you've received from Go Next, what will be in here is it's going to be your Oceania cruise summary. And in the Oceania cruise summary, it has what ports you're going to be in each day, your dining, shore excursions. It has the port address. And it just has your flight tickets if you've booked flights with Oceania. Another piece of paper or another attachment will be the general information page. The general information page is a good, it's got important reminders and then who your program managers are, travel advisory stuff. But the most important piece on the general information is the very first page. It says important information with some phone numbers on it. The phone numbers are going to be for your emergency calls while you're traveling. So if you have any delays, or if you have a misconnection, or if you're arriving early or something happens on your way to Barcelona, you're going to want to give this phone number a call. It's the 612-802-5560. So that is our emergency phone number. It is a cell phone number. So if they don't pick up the phone right away, feel free to leave them a message. If your flight's changed and you've already changed it yourself directly with the airlines, just give them a text and say, I'm arriving on Delta 128 now, on the 12th of September at 10 a.m. Otherwise, like I said, leave them a message. They'll give you a call back. You can also, if something were to happen once you've checked in with your flight, and if you think you're going to have a misconnection, or if anything, you can always step in line with whoever your carrier is and start working with them. If there's nobody in line, it might be faster for you to work directly with the airline and then let us know what the change is. But sometimes if there's a big major change, the line is really long. So that's when you're going to really want to call our number, and we will go ahead and assist you in getting you a new flight. Reason why we need to know about your flight changes are if you have transfers with either Oceania or if you're on our Go Next pre-cruise, we need to know when you're arriving, so we're there to pick you up. If you have a change and we don't know about it, we won't be there to pick you up. We could probably get you if you forgot to do it, but definitely want to try to get us in advance. If your luggage is delayed, one thing that I like to say is please file a claim at the airport before you even leave it. This will help our onboard staff locate your luggage. If we do not have a file or a ticket for your luggage, it's much harder to locate if it is delayed. Packing, people ask me about packing. I say, if you're going to bring 2 suitcases, pack a little of each. So I pack some of my clothes in one and some in the other. If you're only bringing 1 suitcase, I would pack your suitcase, and then in your carry-on, always pack like an extra outfit or any medication or anything that's important in your carry-on. Prescription medications being one of them. If you have a prescription medication that you can't live without, put it in your carry-on. TSA does require them to be in the original pill bottles. People always ask, can I have them in a pill container? I mean, you can, but just TSA does require original bottles. So with that being said, if you do want to just put it in a pill container and take your chances, I always like to suggest that you have a printout of any medications that you're on with what the name is and the milligrams, just in case you need to get something refilled at a pharmacy over there. Another thing, check with your cell phone providers to see if you guys have an international plan. International, you might think, I don't need my phone, I'm on vacation, but you just never know, again, when there's going to be an emergency and you're going to need to make a phone call. Or even if your flight, if you are going to like miss a connection and you're in France or wherever you're going to be for your connection, that's international. So you're going to need a cell phone to call us to let us know. So it's usually pretty inexpensive, and you can usually just add it for the duration of your trip. I always extend it one day after. Same with your bank cards or credit cards. You're going to want to let them know where you're going. Depending on your card or your banking system, some people want to know all the countries you're going to. And again, I also extend it one day on the end, and I just pretend that I am, staying one day, just in case, again, there's a delay on the end. After landing at your destination, once you've got to Barcelona, everybody's going to do the same thing. It just depends on, your flights, and it depends on where you're going. So if you, once you've landed, if you are clearing customs there, you're going to clear customs, get your luggage, and you're going to head towards ground transportation. So ground transportation, after you've gone through customs, is going to probably just be right up in the sky. You're going to look and see a sign, usually by elevators, escalators. Head towards ground transportation. This is where you will find either an Oceania transfer if you're coming in the day of the cruise. If you're coming in for our Go Next pre-cruise, this is where you're going to find our Go Next pass or our Go Next representative. Or if you're coming in on your own, this is where you can probably find Ubers and Lyfts. Some airports have separate stations for them, but it'll clearly mark that it's to go for taxis or Ubers or Lyfts. If you're coming in on your own, the general information, or I'm sorry, the documents from Oceania has the port address. So you can go ahead and look at that if you're coming in on your own. If you're coming in with Oceania, Oceania has large motor coach buses, so they will be there to pick you up. It's kind of like a hotel shuttle. They're not always there. They come in like 15-minute intervals. So if you think you've waited too long, go ahead and call the emergency number and we can see if something's going on. If you are on our Barcelona pre-cruise program, we are going to have probably small sprinters or sedan cars. But we will have a representative, and so will Oceania. They will be looking for you. Each will have a sign. In the Oceania bus, they usually have a sign that says Oceania. It's just the big blue circle. And for Go Next, we usually have neon signs that say Go Next on them. So somebody should be holding something out there. Once you've arrived at the pier, okay, perfect. Once you've arrived at the pier, you're going to check in with Oceania. When you check in with them, they're going to issue you your world card. The world card gets you on and off the ship. It acts as your key to get into the room. It's your payment on board. Oceania is a cashless cruise line, so anything that you need to pay for, you'll do so with this card. When you check in, also, you will be giving them your luggage. So if there's anything that you need, depending on what time you guys get on the ship, you might not see your luggage for a while. If somebody could, perfect. Thanks, Alan. So once you get on and get your room key and stuff, let's see, I'm sorry, your rooms might not quite be ready. So your luggage will go with the porters and then they will bring it to your room. But if you guys are early and you need to take any medication or such, keep it in your carry-on or keep anything that you think is important. If you guys arrive at 10 a.m. and your rooms aren't ready till later in the day, maybe keep a book. Because when your rooms are ready, they will make an announcement and you guys can go ahead and enter your room. While you're waiting, feel free to explore the ship, check out anything you want to go into. If the door is open, go explore. The Terrace Cafe will be open for lunch, so feel free to have lunch, grab something to drink. with Oceania being cashless, the local currency for the ports that you guys are going to is the euro. People always ask me how much money to bring. It really goes based on what you guys want to spend. Almost everywhere accepts the US credit card. So I wouldn't be too worried about cash. Maybe if you think you're gonna do a little shopping with street vendors, or if you think, you know, a local food truck or a small vendor, those might need some euros. So maybe take out a small amount. Doing it over here, use stateside is probably the least expensive way. Some banks will do it euro for no fee. If you need to, you can exchange cash on board. Also, Oceania does charge about a 5% fee. Or when you get to the port and you're like, either I want money or I ran out of money, take it from a bank. There's usually banks close to the ship. And if not, you know, the program managers, or we could Google it and we could find you a bank. But definitely take it out from a bank, and then they'll just give you the local currency. Like I said, I wouldn't take out too much. Almost everybody accepts credit cards these days. In your staterooms, for voltage, there's two 110 outlets, two 220s, and they have USB ports. So if you're just going on the cruise, no need for an adapter. If you guys are extending on the beginning or the end, going to a hotel, you're going to need an adapter, or at least I would check with your hotel and see if they have. Some hotels do have US plugs, but most of them you do require an adapter. For the cabin's internet, there is 2 internet packages per cabin. So if there's 2 of you in the room, you each can have your own login. It's the internet on a ship. So depending on where you guys are at, out in the ocean, or if you're close to port, will depend on your service. I never have really had a problem with it, but all I'm really doing is checking emails. If we were going to do something like this, stream a call with all of us on it, that might be a little hard. So I don't know who's working and who's just vacationing, but I would start with the basic plan. And when you get on board, if you think you need a higher package, you can always upgrade with the concierge. They have upgrade packages available once you get on board. Another thing in your room is the currents. This is like Oceania's daily newsletter, and it's what's happening the next day. So it'll tell you what port you're in, tells you what time the ship arrives in the port, what time you guys get off the ship, what time you need to be back on the ship. It'll tell you the drink of the day, specials, trivia, high tea, it's like an itinerary for the next day so you can plan your outings. It also tells you emergency phone numbers in case anybody's out exploring on shore and you have an emergency and you need to call them. So I always either just take a picture of it. It's like 4 pages, like letter size, or I bring it with me. So the first page is probably the most important page of the document. Oceania is a country club casual ship. What this means is for the specialty dining and the grand dining room, it means no shorts, no blue jeans, and no beach flip-flops. So you can wear open-toed shoes, it just is the ones on the beach you can't wear. People also ask me, do people dress up? Sure they do, but it's whatever you're comfortable with. You don't need a suit jacket, just nice clothes will get you in the door, just no jeans or no shorts. For the rest of the ship, it's casual. So short excursions, definitely casual, whatever you're comfortable in wearing. Comfortable tennis shoes. There's a lot of uneven pavement over here. Temperatures over there, I Googled a few of the cities. They were all about mid-60s to high 70s. So in the morning, it could start out cool, so maybe a little light jacket. Didn't mention much for rain, so I would just check the weather, as you guys get a little closer. The weather changes so much these days. And then you can base your decision on what you're going to wear that day. Laundry, if anybody needs to do laundry, is on decks 7 through 10. The Riviera is a 1,250 passenger ship. And then for the Riviera, you guys have dining the Polo, Toscana, Red Ginger, and Jacques. So by now you guys should have made your dining reservations. And if you haven't, you can do so online in your profile, or you can give us a call and we can help you. If you have dining that you don't really like, specialty dining is just that, it's specialty. So there isn't as many seats as there is in the grand dining room or in the Terrace Cafe. So if you got a time that you're not, you don't really like, and you get on board, and you, every morning in the Terrace Cafe, there's a maitre d' that can help you, try to arrange or, move your stuff around if you have something you want to move, or if you met some friends, the Smiths, and now you want to dine with the Smiths and see if you can combine your reservations. I always check when you're on board, because you never know like what changes could be made. It's same with shore excursions, they ever moving. People cancel their shore excursions and rebook new ones all the time. And with that being said, if you guys need to cancel a dining or a shore excursion, just make sure you do so in advance. So it also opens it up for other people to make changes if they need to do so. By now, you guys, it was probably 90 days ago or so, but you'll also receive this on board. So no need to write any of this down. It's your onboard functions. It's a handout. It just says go next. It tells you who your program managers are, and it just tells you some daily things. So starting out, another thing I forgot to mention, when you guys get on board the ship, if you want to take time and go to the Go Next hospitality desk and meet the program managers, Zora and Marion, they'll be on deck 5. They're going to have your name badges. If you get on board the ship late and you're too tired and you just want to retire to your room until the later, they will bring them to the Go Next reception that evening. So Go Next is having a reception for you guys the first night. You guys will be in your area with all Michigan State people, and everybody else is going to be there as well. But each school will have their own section. And the program managers will introduce themselves and they'll tell you what they're there for. Program managers, so you guys know, they're there to do anything. Anything, if you have a compliment, if you have a complaint, if you have a need, a want, anything, just let them know. The sooner the better. Like if something's not right, they'll make it right. You just need to let them know, and then they work with Oceana. Oceana and Go Next, we have been partners for a very long time, and they love to make their passengers happy. So we just need to know. So just go ahead and talk to the program managers if anything were to come up. So that's the first night. It's open bar, and we'll have some canapes for an hour. And then after that, you guys feel free to, if you don't have dining reservations, if you've met some friends, go to the Terrace Cafe or go down to the grand dining room. The next night is the captain's reception. Captain's reception is really throughout the entire ship. The main show is like in the lounge where you meet the staff and all the officers. On September 15th, we're going to have another reception for you guys, Michigan State reception at 6:30 in Horizons. And then on September 17th is when we have your group photo. So we'll all meet at the grand staircase. The program managers will take your picture, and then we will bring you to the grand dining room, and you guys will all have dinner together. You guys have a very large group that's sailing, so you'll be in same area, just not all at the same table. So again, you will get this handout once you get on board, so no need to write any of it down. Shore excursions will be in your room on the vanity in an envelope. They're going to be your shore excursions for the entire week. So what I like to do when I get in my room is I like to check the tickets to make sure that they're all the shore excursions that I've signed up for, and your shore excursions will be listed on your final docs. If there's anything that you're waitlisted on right now, this is where you could clear. So if you have 2 tickets for one of your days, you're going to want to go ahead and look at those and make sure you cancel the one that you don't want anymore, so you're not charged for the other one. So just look through your tickets. And then if you have any questions, Destination Services can help you with that. One thing we like to say is on your shore excursion tickets, if you want to put MSU in the corner, and this will also, it tells you on this little onboard flyer to do this. What this helps our program managers with is if you guys are on any tours with any other alum from your group, you guys will be on the same bus. And if there's nobody else from Michigan State on your tour, you're still going to be with Go Next people from other schools. So by putting that on your ticket, you will be with other Michigan State people. So what happens is you guys will all meet in the lounge. And in the lounge, in the front, there'll be 2 desks. There'll be an Oceana desk, and then there'll be a Go Next desk. And you'll know it's the Go Next desk because Zora and Marion, they're going to be working the desk, and you will have met them the night before. So you're going to look for their faces. We'll also have a skirt on the desk that says Go Next. And you're just going to wait for your shore excursion to be called. Once they've called your shore excursion, you'll go up and you'll hand them your ticket, and then they'll hand you a bus ticket. And then you'll just wait for destination services to call that ticket number, and then that shore excursion will all dispatch at the same time. So that's for the shore excursions. Some people like to know if other schools you might be traveling with on your shore excursions, or even like when you're at your reception, the Go Next welcome reception. Again, it's a reception for you guys. Feel free to walk around and meet whoever you want to meet. So other schools that are hosted on this trip is Texas A&M, University of North Dakota, Iowa State, and Mizzou. There are other schools on board the ship also. We usually have a little plaque at the program manager desk with all the schools listed, so you guys can see if you, some people go to different schools or multiple schools, so you can always check that out. Your TV in your room has your invoice listed. There's lots of stuff. It'll also tell you the shore excursions for the trip, and it'll have programs and stuff just besides TV. But for the invoice, I always say just go ahead and look at it. I don't know. I just like to make sure that, I don't have a spa treatment I didn't use, or a bottle of wine or whatever. So you can view your invoice, or just to know how much you've spent daily, you can look at it on your TV. If you see any charges that are not yours, you're going to just want to go to reception and let them know that the charges are not yours. Another thing that will be on this invoice is going to be your gratuities. Gratuities is for the entire ship. Anybody you've come in contact with is automatically added to your invoice. Gratuities are $23 for penthouse and above, and that's $23 per person per day. And then for the concierge, it's $18 per person per day and below. If you want to adjust your tips at all, or your gratuities, you would do that at reception. You can say, I only worked with Bob and Sally and I just want to tip them. Or you can give them more, you can give them less. It's really up to your discretion. You just have to do it at reception. Doing it at reception, my biggest tip is don't do it the night before you leave. Do it more a few days before. The night before you leave, reception is a pretty popular place, so the line could be quite long. So I would do it a little bit beforehand if you want to make any changes to your invoice. Another thing, when you are midway through the cruise, you're going to get a disembarkation letter. Disembarkation letter is just going to ask you to re-verify your flight information to make sure nothing has changed. The disembarkation is based on your flights on the return. So if you have a really early morning flight, you're obviously going to get off first. So they go ahead and they get you guys a ticket based on your flight information. The night before you leave, you're going to put your luggage outside the door. You'll have your ticket. You will dispatch. Everybody will meet in the lounge, and then they'll call your numbers. If you are with our Go Next Post Cruise, you just write Go Next Post Cruise. If you're going on your own, you write going on your own. Our post cruise passengers will all get off the ship at the same time. You guys will all have the same ticket number. One thing about disembarkation, when you are getting off the ship, your luggage has been taken down earlier in the day. And then let's see here, ends in Athens. So Athens, down at when you get off the ship, let's say your ticket's ticket number 3. There's going to be a flag in the sky or on a pole that says 3. So then you're going to go to that luggage area, and you're going to find your luggage, and you're going to bring it with you to, if you're going on a bus, if you're getting in a taxi, they will put it on the bus for you. You just need to identify your own luggage and bring it over there, and they'll get it on the bus for you. I just don't want your luggage to be left behind. Let's see here. Just peeking over my stuff here. It was a lot of information. I can definitely go over or answer questions now.
Yes, if anyone has questions, go ahead and unmute yourself and fire away.
Yes, a question on the post cruise. Deb and I will be doing that. So I understood some of what you said. Now, when we put our luggage outside, do we keep our roller bags, the carry-on with us, or that goes out too?
Whatever you're comfortable with carrying. I always keep my carry-on with me. Sometimes I have important stuff in there. So if it's easier for you to carry, then I would keep it with you. And then you can, put your pajamas in there or your toothbrush or whatever you need that next morning. Then you can put it in that bag.
And then the second question is, what about transfers from the hotel to the airport on the Tuesday morning, the 23rd?
So you guys will be transferred by Go Next. You'll have breakfast that morning and then they will take you to the airport.
Okay, perfect. And that'll depend, I presume, our ticket time will be taken into account.
Yeah, and if for some reason, once you've met with Zora and Marion, I'm not for sure if they're both going to be on the post cruise. Usually they are if we have a big number. But you could always ask them if it's going to be based on that, your departure time. That is usually how they base it.
Okay, very good.
One of the things that I would like to mention also is when you are disembarking from the ship and you leave your luggage out, the next day when you leave the ship, it's important that you do identify your luggage so that they will put it on the correct transfer bus. We've had an incident earlier this year where someone didn't know to identify their luggage and it didn't make it to the airport. So just want to put that little tip in there.
I have a question for you. I wondered if there's any transportation to the ship during the day. For example, I have an excursion one day that goes from 9 a.m. to 1:15 and it's at a beach. And I wondered if there's any, like shuttles going back and forth to the ship, or, if you wanted to get back to take a shower or something.
From the beach, maybe not. So once you get on board Oceana, depending on where they're at, if you guys are not in the central city center, they will have transportation, but it's usually not to a beach. But when you get on board, I would check with, you can check with that specific city and you can ask the program managers and then they can see where you guys are going to into that port and see how close you are. But if you're at a beach and they know a cruise ship is coming in, my guess is there's going to be taxis around that beach, because they know when cruise ships are coming into port because they make money on tourism. So they always want to be there to help. I know, when you're leaving the ship, if anybody doesn't have a transfer either, there will be taxis outside the ship on disembarkation also.
Okay.
Somebody has a question here. Can you only change dinner reservations once on the ship? No, you can call us right now and we can still try to make that change for you. So if you want to give our agents a call, they'd be more than happy to tell you what's available. And one thing to note, if you're doing it on your own, you can also do it online. But people, when you do the shore excursion, or I'm sorry, the dining, and you want to dine by yourself, there's only so many two top tables. So you have a better opportunity of getting an earlier time if you select to dine with others. You won't know, well, maybe you'll know them. There might be other Go Next passengers. But if you select dine with others, usually earlier times open up.
I had a question. I had read that the credit cards don't account for tips in Europe quite often. And so it's customary to leave a 10% tip and you should carry cash to leave that tip, correct? Or what do you know?
They do like cash if you're going to eat somewhere, and it is only 10% that they do suggested tips. So yes, I would carry a little cash for tips, or even I guess I didn't really even talk about shore excursions. If anybody wants to tip shore excursion people, if you're your tour guide or whatever, or the driver, some people tip them as well, and they obviously cash. So it's always good. Every trip I go on, I bring $200 local currency. It just doesn't seem like a lot, and I feel like I could spend it. And if I can't spend it, I find something to spend it on, like little souvenirs or something. So I always can find $200. And you guys are going on you know, a trip that's at least 10 days. So depending if you're going on a pre and post, so, you know, you definitely could use $200 cash or euros.
Any other questions? Yes.
Yes, I've got a question. If we do purchases, do we need to declare items?
Depending on, you mean on the airplane?
Coming back, I mean, do we have to declare anything at all?
Usually
never
it's
had-
within a dollar amount,
Yeah.
Okay.
and I can't recall the dollar amount, Harley.
I feel like it's quite high.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I want to say like 5,000, but I could be wrong.
I was gonna say 5,000, so it must be 5,000.
Yes.
Would we do that on the ship or at the airport?
Oh, yeah, it's when you go through customs and immigration, and during that time is when they would ask you to do that.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I have a question. A couple of the ports we're going into, the excursions were all sold out. Now, will there be transportation? Can we just get off the ship and do something on our own?
Oh, 100%, yes. And like I said, you can always check when you're on board to see if anything is opened up if you want to. But yeah, and another thing, when you get off the ship, there's usually people out there that offer their own shore excursions also. I just would make sure to buffer your time and tell them, like, if you have to be back on the ship, I would tell them you got to be back at 4:30. But otherwise, you know, Zora has been all around the world 100 times over. And so is Marion. So you could ask both of them, you know, if there's anything that you need to see.
Okay, great. And then if we're waitlisted for something, how would we be notified? When would we be notified if something opens up? Once we're on the ship?
Yeah, there'll be a ticket in your envelope with the rest of the tickets.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, and you can always check with the desk too, because like I said, if somebody cancels, some
Yeah.
people are like, whoa, I booked a shore excursion for every day and this is not gonna happen, because it's very long to do a shore excursion and then you come home and have a great dinner, but the dinners are, you know, they can be longer depending on what you're doing. So some people cancel shore excursions. I shouldn't say some, a lot do, so.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And actually, sometimes with these shore excursions, they may actually call you in your stateroom. I've had that happen before, just saying, hey, something opened up if you want to take it. So
Yeah.
that's a possibility.
I don't want to raise an ugly specter, but I will ask it. What are your recommendations as far as bringing masks and COVID tests and such along for the cruise?
So you definitely can, if you think you're feeling sick. I would bring your own versus going to the clinic on board. It's, you know, it's very expensive to go to the medical center on board. So if you don't have to go, I wouldn't go. So they don't really, I mean, you can quarantine yourself, but there's really no guidelines for COVID anymore on Oceania. If you want to quarantine and wear a mask, if you feel sick, that's, you know, up to your discretion. Again, it's something you could talk to Zora and Marion about and they would help you. But if you want to bring tests, you can go. I would bring your own if you are nervous about it. Much cheaper.
Yeah, I do recommend that you wear a mask on board the aircraft. I really do. I've just heard of a lot of people at the end of their trip saying, hey, I came down with COVID, but I don't know if it was because they were on the trip or if it was the flight, but I just recommend that. I always do.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So somebody asked if there's any anchoring ports, and Saint-Tropez is a anchor port. So that one you guys will be taking tenders in on.
I wondered if there's any regulations in the countries for COVID vaccines or.
No vaccines required for this cruise.
No
And
one.
also, do you have can you give me an idea of what the general weather would be like in the Mediterranean area?
Yeah,
in
so
September?
yeah, mid-60s probably. I mean, mid-60s to high 70s. So it's quite a range, but it can tend to be hot over there. And especially depending on if there's not a lot of trees. Like I live in Minnesota, so I mean there's not a lot of shade, so you're in the direct sun when the sun is out.
And does it get colder when you're on the ship? when you're out to sea? Is that?
So if you are already a cold-blooded person, they have the air conditioner on. I always bring a cardigan with me or some kind of little light sweater, and I'm usually comfortable in a light sweater.
Yeah. Just depends on the evening, but I wouldn't say that it gets real cold in the Mediterranean this time of year,
Okay.
but it might be breezy.
Another luggage question. We were each individually sent 2 luggage tags. And was the intention that one of those goes on a check bag and one on the carry-on, or that is actually just for the check luggage?
No, you can put it on your carry-on too, especially if your carry-on, when you get to the ship, if you're gonna leave your carry-on with the porters, then your room number's on there.
But if, again, worried about whether or not we're going to need 3 check bags and our 2 carry-ons, put them on the check bags for sure then.
Yeah, and if you need more when you get to the port, or if somebody hasn't received their luggage tags, when you get to the port, they'll just print them out for you. It's not a big deal. They'll do it once you check in. So you don't even need to put them on beforehand. Once you get to the port, you can put them on.
Okay, good deal.
Any other questions? I do want to mention, for those of you that might be doing the pre or the post tours, that within these larger cities, usually there are pickpocketers around, and I've been hearing recently too that they will actually steal your phone, so out of your hand. I had a friend who knew someone that he was walking down the street and had his phone in his hand, and somebody on a bike rode by and grabbed his phone. So
Oh, no.
please, please, please keep your valuables. Do not leave your wallets in a back pocket. Leave it somewhere secure in a zipped, some type of zipped either pocket or purse or something to that effect, because they're looking for people who are not paying attention. So just wanted to be sure I mentioned that. So, any other questions? Okay, can you use ATMs in these ports to get cash?
Yes.
Yeah. If so, do people use their phones? Do you mean use their phones at the ATM, or
I use a card, but I'm not very techy, so maybe people can use their phone. I'm not for sure about phones.
yeah. And if you're at the ATM, because this has happened to someone before too, and you're having trouble trying to get cash out, don't let anyone help you, because then they may steal your card. I've had that happen before as well. Or not me, but somebody on a trip that happened. So, yes. Any other questions? Okay. Well, if you think of something after our call here, feel free to let me know, send me an email, give me a call, and I can work on getting an answer for you. Also, too, this is being recorded, and so if there's something that you remember that Emily said, or you can't quite remember what Emily said, then I will be sending the recording out to you and you can take a look at it again. So, all right.
Before we go, can you hear me?
Yes.
I have one question. We're doing pre and post stays on each end of the cruise on our own. We're not doing the Go Next cruise. Is there anything special we need to know about our luggage handling for that situation?
No, it's just the same. You're going to want to claim your own luggage and bring it to your taxi or your Uber with you. It's all the same. You're just going to be going to a different transportation car.
Okay, so for our embarkment, when we signed online for a time, we were only given the option of 1 o'clock. We weren't given the 12 o'clock early time. What is the correct time for us to show up to be able to get on?
So, and that's just a general, like, they just want to know generally how many people are coming at that time. But if you want to arrive at 12 o'clock, feel free. It's just so they're properly staffed. So they
Okay.
only allow, and I don't know why they do it because everybody, I should add that to my thing because everybody asked me that, but it's just general, just so if you want to arrive early, go ahead and arrive early and you can get on board.
Okay. Okay, as long as we're not put in some place to wait and can't get on board, that's all I want to make sure of.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't go really early in the morning. They probably
No,
wouldn't
no.
let it before like 10:30.
Okay, that works. Thank you.
Yes. And then also too, Emily, can you maybe mention the transfer for those that are like, say on the pre-cruise? So probably that day we'll get up, have breakfast and possibly do some type of tour and then head to the ship. Is that typically what happens?
That is, so yeah, so let me just get the flyer up here really quick. So yeah, after breakfast on the 11th, you guys are gonna do a half-day tour of Barcelona. So your luggage, that morning, you guys will have breakfast, you'll bring your luggage, or it'll be the same thing as the cruise ship. The luggage pull the night before, so they'll take your luggage outside of your hotel door, and then they'll bring it down, and then they will put it on the bus for you. You guys will have breakfast, you'll do your half-day tour, and then after the half-day tour, they will transfer you over to the Riviera. It's usually, it depends on traffic, it depends on, you know, the sightseeing, or it depends on like the because usually they give you a little time in a gift shop. It just depends on all that, but usually arrival is around 2:30.
I have a question. We're doing the pre and the post tours through Go Next.
Mm-hmm.
We're really leaving our luggage outside our hotel room the night before. For how
Usually
long?
that's, usually they pick it up that night. And if you're not comfortable with it, you can bring your luggage down yourself in the morning. I know a lot of people have that question. Yes. Then,
Okay.
yeah, go for it. And you can just tell Zora and Marion that, so then they're not calling your room trying to wake you up, looking for your luggage. Just tell them you're bringing your own luggage down and they'll make a note of it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Emily, very much for all
Thank
the
you, everyone.
information. And again, if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to me and then I can get the answers from Emily. And so what now, I think what we'll do is go around the room, and if you would like, you can say a little bit about yourselves and what you're looking forward to and kind of what your connection with is with Michigan State. And actually, I'll start. So I'm Regina, as I mentioned before, and I direct the Spartan Pathways Travel Program, and I've been with the Alumni Office for more than 35 years. And I've been directing the program for 24 of those years. And so that's a little bit about me. And I am a graduate of Michigan State from the year of 91. So, all right. Based on my screen, I'm going to start with Harley, who I just happen to know. So.
Yeah, hi, name's Harley Seeley. I was a photographer for MSU for 25 years or so. Married to an alum who was also on this cruise, Laura. But now independent, have my own company, and MSU remains my biggest client. So looking forward to the cruise. It should be fun.
Just so you know, he's probably one of the best photographers I've ever known.
Oh,
Yes.
that's so nice of you to say.
Yes. So then we'll go on to Laura. Laura, why don't you go ahead next?
Okay, yeah, I'm with Harley. And I graduated from MSU, received a journalism degree in 1980, and then was off campus at a couple of jobs and returned to campus and worked at MSU for about 25, 26 years. Retired in 2013, and now I do freelance work primarily for MSU. And really looking forward to the cruise. I'm just so excited hearing everybody, talk about the plans and the questions and the itinerary. So really looking forward. It'll be our 25th wedding anniversary next year. So we wanted to do a cruise for a 25th, but this came a year early. So.
Okay, I see Janice.
I'm Janice Susella Foley, and I am a WMU Western Michigan University graduate and University of Toledo graduate, so math schools. But my husband, Chris Foley.
Yeah, I'm a Spartan grad, 1982 in ornamental horticulture. So we're both really looking forward to this trip and seeing all these great sites. I'm just retiring this Friday. So
Oh, wonderful.
this is kind of our retirement get together. She already retired, so looking forward to it.
All right. Okay. I see Flanders.
It's Anne.
Oh,
I don't know why it says that Flanders is where we live. This has
Okay.
been very helpful. We really appreciate it. Tom has left the room. So Tom and I both graduated from MSU, and he was a teacher for 39 years. I was a teacher for 20 years. We're really looking forward to this. These are places we've not been to, so we're excited about it.
wonderful. Great. I have Melvin next. Are you able to unmute? There you go.
Yeah, just now.
Okay, good.
I'm actually a graduate of Ohio University, so it's still green and white, just not Sparty green and white. My connection to MSU is my partner Brenda Sprite and our good friends Deb and Chris Peterson. So we're both really looking forward to this trip.
Wonderful. Great. I see Ross Brower.
Well, if you look around and find Julie, she asked that great question about tipping.
Okay, yeah.
So she and I have been married for 37 years, and we both graduated Michigan State. I graduated in 79, she graduated in 80. And we're both teachers, among other things, but mostly teachers. She went to the dark side and became an administrator for the last 5-6 years of her career, but it's okay. She's still a teacher.
Okay.
And we're actually going with Anne and Tom Flanders, and we're just so looking forward to this. I went to Italy on an alumni band trip back in '83, and Italy is just so beautiful. I can't wait to get back. Skip the pizza, eat the gelato, and Greece. We are so excited to be going to Greece. So
Good.
that's it.
All right, Julie, do you want to go next?
Yes. I became an administrator, but I never went to the dark side. And I worked at MSU at the Child Development Laboratories for 25 years, and as a head teacher, and then as an administrator for the last few years. And we're excited. We were going to go to Italy in 20, and we all know what happened to all our trips we planned in 2020. So we're excited to be able to finally get to Europe together. And I think that's it for us.
All right, thank you. Okay, the Whites. Is that how it's pronounced, White?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm Nancy White. I graduated from Michigan State in 1968. I started teaching in Hazlitt and then moved to Livonia, and now I live in Wisconsin and have taught there. Retired many years ago, and Ron and I were married at the chapel. I'll let him talk.
And I'm Ron White. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in '68, like Nancy. My degree is in economics. I spent over 3 decades working for Century Insurance in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, which is why we're not Michigan anymore. Mm-hmm. We, like all the rest of you, are very much looking forward to this trip. We have been on trips like this before where we've had quote, program managers, which is very helpful. Somebody that can, someone who we can turn to for some answers and some guidance. So that's going to be very helpful. And this Zoom meeting was a great idea, Regina.
Oh,
Thanks
good.
for putting this together.
Wonderful. Okay, the Petersons.
I'm Chris Peterson. My connection, 28 years on the Faculty of Agriculture, Food, Resource Economics, and enjoyed that time immensely. Deb and I have been to Italy a couple of times, but especially we're looking forward to Pompeii and the Greek islands and Athens.
I'm Deb Peterson. I spent a number of years at MSU on staff and helping with study abroad and doing some teaching and working with international studies and programs. And then somewhere around 2003, got my PhD at MSU. So my Spartan memories may not be the same as those who did it as an undergrad, but I still have really good memories of being on campus. I'm excited about taking Chris to the Acropolis, and really excited about traveling with Brenda and Mel and sharing parts of Rome and Florence with them that we have enjoyed in the past.
Wonderful. Okay, Pat Thomas.
Hi, thank you for having this Zoom. My husband and I both graduated from Michigan State in 1977. I graduated from the College of Nursing, and he graduated in computer science from the College of Engineering. And then we got married in the alumni chapel also, and had our reception at Kellogg Center. So we've been married 47 years, and we retired a few years ago, and we just want to travel and see places, Italy and Greece and all the historic sites, and we're very excited. So,
all right, good. Okay, let's see who we have. Dave. It just says Dave. So,
hi there. I'm Dave Devereaux, and behind me is my lovely bride, Kathleen. And I graduated from Michigan State in 1973, back when it was called television and radio. I had a 50-year career in broadcasting. And we've traveled on Oceania before, but we've never traveled with Michigan State. So we are very much looking forward to this trip and spending time with all of you.
okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. And then I see it just says the iPhone. I see two people that just says iPhone. So not sure. I think that, yes. Okay. All right. We'll move on. The next I see, it just says JFL 711.
Okay, well that's me. I'm Alan Lyon, which you can see in some other thing. We had to do it on a couple different devices, so that's the two of us. I'm a 77 graduate of Michigan State College of Engineering. I'm still live in Michigan. I'm over in South Haven. Worked at Palisades Nuclear Plant for almost 30 years. This is our first real international travel. We're celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary this year, plus a couple other milestone birthdays. So we're really looking forward to the great unknown. This is our first cruise and first international. And so we're a little apprehensive, but we're looking forward to having a good time.
Wonderful. Okay. And Brenda? Are you there, Brenda? It looks like you're unmuted, but I'm afraid we don't hear you. Okay. All right. Now, there's a couple here that I don't have names for, so if you haven't spoken and would like to, if you want to just unmute and. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Alrighty. Well, I just want to also mention that we have this the Bright Crowd online directory. It's called the book, the Courtyards and Colonnades book. And I know many of you have already put in your bio information in that, and I thank you for that. If for some reason you still would like to add your information to that, please just let me know, and then I can send you an email invitation to do that. It's a great way for you to get to know people prior to the trip. So, and then let's see here. Well, during the tour, I'll be around. I may be on some of your excursions. I may not. I had to difficulty getting some of the excursions that I wanted, but hopefully I will see you on one of the excursions. And then of course we have all the cocktail receptions, and then I will be around usually during happy hour time. I might be in one of the different lounges, so if you want to hang out there, we could do that prior to dinner, and maybe we'll get together for tea or other opportunities on board. So if there's anything again that you need an answer for, please let me know, and I will send out the recording either later today or tomorrow if you want to watch it again. So thanks so much for joining us today, and go green. And I look forward to seeing you all. I'm going on the pre-tour, so yes, I'll be on the pre-tour as well. So I'll see some of you on that.
Go white.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.